Producer Tim also in the building, rocking it over on the other side. And we get 1 hour with you today. And then Ronnie Lane will take over with the inside pitch and Rays baseball. The pregame show will start at 1:30. In your first place, Tampa Bay Rays will be taking on the White Sox first pitch at 2:10. And a nice little victory last night, which gives us a little bit of confidence. In fact, I felt like that was that was a game last night that instilled more confidence in this team for me than any other game. And they played a lot of good games, right? They're 10-7 now in first place, even with the Yankees coming back to win last night. That game being a bullpen game, being April 15th, which we talked about yesterday. They hadn't won on April 15th in over 15 years. They pulled out a victory last night. And, like I said, being a bullpen day, that was pretty impressive. That was remarkable. Who saw that coming? Not only that, but, the bullpen didn't give up any runs until the ninth inning, which is usually when the bullpen gives up, their runs. It seems like we're always giving up runs in the ninth, but not a bad outing by the bullpen at all. Sulser, pretty good. He came in 2 innings, 3 hits, had a strikeout, had a walk, didn't give up any earned runs. Seymour was the guy that gave up the runs in the ninth. He gave up 2 hits, 3 runs, which were all earned runs. He had 2 walks, 1 strikeout. He's got to be better. We got to get the ERA, under the double digits. Right now he's at a 10.57. Got to be better. Ian Seymour, definitely somebody when he comes into a ball game. I get a little bit nervous, but luckily when they went into the ninth inning, they had an 8-0 lead. All was well. You would have liked to see them get out of that game with a shutout, but, being a bullpen day, throwing 4 different pitchers from the bullpen, getting a W, not giving a run up until the ninth inning, it was pretty encouraging baseball because that has been the Achilles heel of the team. That's what we're always complaining about is the bullpen. And I know there's some data out there that shows the bullpen is better than advertised. I don't buy into the data. I buy in with what I see with my eyes. Bullpen hasn't been very good.
What data are you watching?
Well, the Rays front office has made basically saying last year there was a lot of bad luck. And Evan Klosky from WTSP, he's an amazing follow. He sent me a bunch of data one day on Twitter when I was complaining about the bullpen, and he showed me all of these numbers, and he's right. If you don't follow him, he's a great follow because he can really deep dive into stuff. They have a lot of good stats. They were, one of the top of the leagues in strikeouts. They led the league in a lot of stats. Unfortunately, the one they led the league in too was blown saves and home runs given up, and that was really why they were so bad because of all the deep balls they gave up. I compared the bullpen to Jameis Winston. Like, yeah, you're going to get a lot of passing yards, but you're also going to get a lot of interceptions, and at the end of the day, you're not winning games. And so that's kind of how I look at the bullpen is Jameis Winston. I think that's the best comparison. Would you agree?
Yeah, I was going to say that's not a bad comparison. 30 touchdowns, 30 interceptions.
Yeah, except Jameis Winston, I think, was a little bit more fun to watch because
that's true.
You had 60 minutes of it, so it's like not every when the bullpen comes up, it's the game is very tight. There's a lot on the line. And with Jameis Winston, it was a little bit differently because you had 60 minutes to either bomb or do well. But with the bullpen, it's usually a tight window when they're coming in. Baseball's just a little bit different. But nonetheless, Tampa Bay Rays are in first place, baby. They have been in first place. And I want to apologize for something yesterday. I mentioned the April 15th curse when they hadn't won in over 15 years. I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't even have brought it up. Because you know what? We should have been talking about yesterday how the Rays are in first place, and some a-hole on Twitter has to bring up this stat that ends up going viral. Everybody's talking about it. Change the whole narrative around the team. The narrative should have been they are in first place, ahead of the Yankees, ahead of the Orioles, ahead of the Red Sox, ahead of the Blue Jays. But no, we were just talking about this curse. And then we went into a bullpen day on April 15th. The odds stacked against this team, and here you go. What do you know? They win again. And the offense, it just continues to be on fire. Now, it's always fun baseball when you are in first place, but this team is exceptionally fun. They really are so much fun. The whole time coming into the season, we thought we were going to get a lot of 1-0 games, 2-1 games. Now we're getting 8-3, 8-5. I mean, these guys are just putting up runs, and they're so fun to watch. And yesterday we got the lineup that we love. Chandler Simpson leading off, Caminero batting second. By the way, he hit a bomb last night. That was good to see. It's weird. I had one of those, like it was like a metaphor. I was thinking about. I'm laying in bed last night. I was a little exhausted. Went to bed kind of early. COVID's still kicking my butt. Like trying to recover from it. I'm like out of breath all the time, and just I don't have my energy back fully. So I get in bed last night. And I think Junior had just made an amazing play where he saved a couple runs being scored in an inning by throwing it out at first. And it was a routine play, but, Junior has struggled in some of those situations at times this year. And I'm like, he hasn't hit a lot of home runs. And I was kind of having this thought in my mind. I'm like, he's definitely not going to probably repeat last year. And I know it's probably too early to say that, but he just doesn't seem to be hitting them at a large rate. And then the next at bat, boom, gone. He hits one to open up the scoring last night. But because it was a bullpen day, and they were able to win the way they did, first inning, no runs against. Second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth inning, didn't give up any runs. It wasn't until the ninth. Very encouraging sign. Like I said, Ian Seymour, obviously the one that gave up all the runs. Not encouraging to see his ERA north of 10, but overall, I was very pleased with that outing. And how about my guy, Taylor Walls? Taylor Walls getting another hit. He went 1 for 4 last night. Taylor Walls is batting .320, guys, with an on-base percentage of .370. I mean, I'm glad I hopped on the Taylor Walls train before it was too late. I was on the Taylor Walls train before it was cool to be on the Taylor Walls train. Now, everybody is welcome aboard. Everybody wants on, and he is just on fire right now. And before he came back, I said this team really misses him. They miss him because of his defense. And everybody would say, but he can't hit. I don't care if he can't hit. Well, now he comes back. He can play defense, although he did have a couple errors in the beginning. But, beginning of the season, rust. And now, not only is he playing defense, excellent defense, by the way, made a couple plays again last night, he's hitting the baseball. He's throwing down bunts. He's stealing bags. He's doing it all. Taylor Walls has been incredible. And if you're still on the Taylor Walls hate train, step off. Come on over to the good side. It's fun being a Taylor Walls fan. He's a really good baseball player. I know he struggled in his career hitting. And I don't expect him to bat over 300 the whole year. If he does, that would be incredible. I don't expect that. I think he's just on a little bit of a streak right now. But I do expect him to always play good defense. And that's a huge part for this team. Saving runs is just as important as bringing them in. He's doing both. He's saving runs and he's bringing them in. And he's scoring a lot of runs, too, because he keeps getting on base. So Taylor Walls has been exceptional, and the Rays have been better since his return. Look, I'm not right about a lot of things. I'm wrong all the time. And I'm not always going to be right. I want to be entertaining more than anything. I want you to tune in, listen, and have fun while you listen to this show. And as a sports radio host, we're not going to nail every single take we have, and I'm guilty of that. If you think I'm just some idiot that's on the radio every day from 12 to 2, that's a fair take. But I am proud of being on the Taylor Walls train before it became cool, because Taylor Walls is a really good ball player, and I'm happy that he's back on this team. And I didn't expect it to be like this. I mean, he is way better than I expected him to be. Tim, your thoughts on Taylor Walls? I mean, nobody expected this.
No, again, you look at the history of Taylor Walls, you're like, the guy bats barely 200. He's not going to get on base. What are we
191
doing?
Coming into the year.
Well, exactly. So all the history tells you otherwise, but I agreed with you from the beginning that this team needed him back. They needed the defense. And, hey, thanks to Aaron. Aaron was on the Taylor Walls train from the very beginning.
Yeah, Aaron started the train, and then I gave him a lot of credit during the show. I said, I'm hopping aboard, Aaron. I said, I'm joining the Taylor Walls fan club. And Pat Donovan had mentioned on Twitter to Sam Cohen, their producer, how I had joined the Taylor Walls train, the fan club. He asked Sam if he wanted to join the fan club. Sam said no. They kind of laughed at us. 4 days later, I hear Sam on the air on a Saturday show apologizing to Taylor Walls. He joined the fan club. Today we have a new member we'd like to welcome to the Taylor Walls fan club. Rock Riley, everybody. Rock Riley, put it on Twitter.
Yeah, Rock.
Rock is joined. Rock is on the Taylor Walls fan club, so we continue to let people aboard on the Taylor Walls fan club because he deserves it. Let's go to P in Lakeland. P is always a great call. Let's see what he's up to. He wants to talk about the first place Rays. What's up, P?
Hey, but how you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
I'm doing good. First, let me say I'm calling to eat crow about my raise, about my first
All
place
right.
raise. I'm sorry. I just calling to eat the crow. I mean, I'm still got the same stance, but I must say I'm just here to eat crow today. Give it to me, however you want to give it. But I am. It's a pleasant surprise that we're bunting so good. Small ball is what's winning us games. The hitting is outstanding. Defense is like the worst defensive team we had, but let's just stick on the positives. Um,
You know what though? You know
uh,
what, P though? They've turned the
yeah,
defense around. Another night, no errors.
yeah,
They've got a
yeah,
couple
yeah,
games in
yeah.
a
They
row.
have, they have. So like I'm just calling to, shout out, Tampa Bay. Let's get back to that and my Rays, get them some love and just mostly eat crow. So don't be so hard on me. I hang up and listen.
P,
Talk to
you're
you
good.
soon.
If
Bye.
I had to come on the air and talk about every time I was wrong, I'd be on air all day. We're all, we're never going to be right on everything we say. It's impossible. We can't be right on everything every single time. We're all going to have bad takes and bad opinions. And look, for those that said this was going to be a 100-loss team, it's still early. They still could lose 100 games. You're not wrong yet. You're not wrong until they win 73 games. I think that's the math. Don't judge my math skills, whatever it might be. But, this team is playing really good baseball right now. They are a fun watch. And I don't think this is just the first month fluke. I expect it to stick around, and I expected the defense to be better. They've gotten better. I didn't expect, the offense to be like this. Now, I don't expect the offense to be like this going forward. I think it'll take a little bit of a step back. I mean, how could it stay at this pace? But if it does, this team will obviously live and die by the bullpen only. But they've been a really fun watch, and they are in first place. And again, I apologize with yesterday talking about the April 15th curse because that shouldn't have been the narrative yesterday. The narrative should have been they are in first place. And some a-hole had to pull up that tweet that ended up going viral, and everybody started talking about it. I don't even know how somebody finds a stat like that. Like, Tim, you're great at finding crazy stats. Like, how did someone know to even look that up?
That's for that particular stat, I have no idea. And the only way I could think about it is just to go back each individual season, find if they played on April 15th, and then just go 1, 2, 3,
Can
4. Like that would take way too long.
Are you telling me you don't have a spreadsheet for each team's wins of each day on the calendar? If not, we need to work on that spreadsheet so we can start coming up with those stats. That was brilliant.
We might have to.
888-388-0957 is the number. We got a couple people on hold. We're going to get to your calls. We're talking about the Rays. I want to get into the Bucks too because I don't think the Bucks are taking a defensive player if they stay at 15.